sure you guys will wonder about, the situation that occurred like we had talked about. Well, we've handled that in-house. I do trust that if something like that occurs again, in terms of, if there is a fight or whatever, that those situations that played out won't be a factor because I have such trust in our players, and they understand, and Aaron understands that was something that we were fortunate nobody got injured, and for that I'm very grateful. So,
in terms of handling it in-house, Sean, was there any discipline involved?
Yeah, we're going to keep all that stuff in-house, kind of like we talked about, so hopefully you respect that.
But there was discipline.
I talked to Aaron. We've dealt with it in-house, yes.
Sorry, Sean, I don't respect it. I don't respect it. It's not the right approach. You got lucky that no one got seriously injured. Until you stop the behavior, it's just a matter of time before somebody does get seriously injured. And then everybody will say, we didn't know that could happen. Well, you're on notice. You're on notice that guys will, when pushed to a certain point, swing their helmet at, or someone else's helmet, as the case may be, at someone else. So if and when there's ever the kind of connection, and there's a photo, Chris, that's horrifying of one of the helmets that Aaron Donald is bringing down onto the helmet of another Bengals player, and you can see the helmet is almost flat from the impact. I mean, this is Aaron Donald swinging a helmet. Can you imagine what he could have done if he would have connected with somebody without a helmet on? And we know at least two guys didn't have helmets on. So this is like the commissioner saying back in February about the Washington Commanders, we can't have a team investigate themselves. How can we expect the Rams to be the ones who impose discipline on Aaron Donald? They're only going to hurt themselves if they suspend him for the opener. But if it's something that happened in a game, he'd be suspended for multiple games. Yeah, well, I don't get it. Yeah, I don't buy it. I don't respect it.
I hear you there. It's extremely dangerous. We know that. At the very least, it's not a good example to set for young kids, high school kids, college kids to be seeing Aaron Donald doing that on TV. We know that as well. I'm shocked that really something bad hasn't happened already along these lines. I've described fights on my podcast where helmets have been swung like that at guys that are not wearing a helmet. But, again, this is it becomes assault, with what you're doing there. And it crosses a line. And, yes, I'm with you there. As much as I love Aaron Donald of the Rams and, again, what's shocking is there's no rules about this. The NFL, which has control over everything you do off the field and everywhere, and all these bylaws that, we can protect the shield, but here we are in a joint training camp practice and there's no rule for that. They have no jurisdiction there. That is odd. I can't say that enough. That is very odd that they can't do anything here in this setting, but when you're at home in your personal setting, they can. And that doesn't make sense to me.
The personal conduct policy applies everywhere in the world except on the practice field, because that's where the team is in charge of policing the misbehavior of a player, even when it goes beyond anything that you would reasonably expect a player to ever do. I agree with you. And I'm surprised the league hasn't done something, hasn't tried to do something. Sometimes even if you think you're going to lose in an arbitration setting, there's value in standing up for what's right.
Right.
This one boggles the mind. And you used that word assault. And it's unfortunate because Schefter used that after Myles Garrett and got clowned for it. But it is assault. And it does go beyond the consent that a football player gives to the contact that he will be subjected to when he steps onto a football field.
Right.
There is a point where the behavior exceeds the legitimate use of physical force. There was a lawsuit filed recently in connection with one of these cage fighting MMA type things where a guy used a clearly illegal maneuver beyond the pale and inflicted a serious injury. There are fights that can go too far in hockey where you are beyond what you have signed up for.
Right.
And when you play football, you do not sign up to get hit over the head with your own helmet. You just don't. And it is assault. If you'd walk up to somebody on the street and do it, you'd get arrested for it. I remember when Albert Hainsworth did it in Tennessee to Andre Gerard.
Right.
2005, I believe, maybe 2006. Stepped on his forehead with his cleat, ripped it open.
Right.
You do that out on the street and you go to jail. You do it in a football game. Now, he did get suspended for it, but it does cross the line beyond anything that you reasonably agree to when you decide to play football. And it is assault. It shouldn't be a punchline. That's what happened when Myles Garrett did it, and that's what happened when Aaron Donald did it.
Definitely. And I don't expect anything to happen. I don't. And I'm not even going to lie. I mean, if I was the Rams, I mean, yeah, maybe I'd fine them some money, but I'm going to have them out there week 1.
They gave him a stern talking to, Chris. Please don't do it again, Aaron. Please don't do it again.
I know. They need to make sure he gets this. But I think this is at least maybe this is the jump-off point to hopefully where the NFL now goes into, wait, we got to have some rules or some jurisdiction when maybe it's 2 teams together. Okay, if it's your own team and all of that, something has to. They got to protect themselves, or just like you said, just in case right there, let alone what if somebody, like you said, had the helmet off and they got hit? The NFL is going to be the one that's going to be liable there. They're going to get sued if somebody gets really hurt that way. It's not going to just be the team that's going to be in hot water. So I would think this starts the conversation in the league office about we got to do something here to protect ourselves. And I got to think the NFLPA would probably go, you know what? It's probably a good thing to have something here to protect all of us here as we go forward, because they got to protect the players as much as they want to protect Aaron Donald. They got to protect the guys that are getting hit by these damn things in this case for sure.
And some may wonder, how would the NFL be responsible for something that the NFL didn't do? You're talking about deliberate misconduct by someone like Aaron Donald. How is the league responsible? The theory would be something along the lines of negligent supervision, negligent failure to protect. Negligence is the key because they know now that this happens.
Yeah.
They are on notice that this is within the scope of stuff that can go wrong at a joint practice. And if you're not policing it, you're not going to stop it. And that's the one last remaining piece of this that we'll see how it plays out. Even though the league can't do anything to Aaron Donald, the league can take action against the Rams for failing to control Aaron Donald. We'll see if they do. We had that big press release about Stephen Ross tampering with Tom Brady and Sean Payton, but nobody could have gotten seriously hurt physically by tampering. Let's see if they do something, Chris, when it comes to an important safety issue at a time when we hear about health and safety all the time, and that's good. This just can't fall through the cracks and be forgotten.
I think it's gonna fall through the cracks. I don't think they're gonna be able to do anything. It's gonna be on the Rams, and yeah, it's not a good look, but I think it does start the change, hopefully, to where they realize both sides this can't go on anymore.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.